One was the access to our space. The second was the snow storage area, also parking spaces, garage, not garage, but disposal, and the lighting plan as well. All those have been addressed and presented to the board.
Could you, obviously the large portion, the major change on this was, as we discussed, access. There were two proposals, one to go around the building and the other one to chop off a portion of the building, which you are chopping off a portion of the building. If you could go into detail about that, I would appreciate it, because that is really the issue we had with the right-of-way, with the abutting property and access to the site. So if you could elaborate a little bit on that, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Enright, and I'm a professional. I turned it on. Yep. A
You
professional.
know, you've been here before, right, Kate?
I'm a professional engineer with Howard Stein Hudson, and our office is at 114 Turnpike Road in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Since the last meeting, we have reviewed access to the subject site and in talking with the property owner, who is also here this evening. As you recall, previously, this area here where the parking and the access is currently for the building is a Mass Electric easement, and we technically at this point do not have rights to access over it. The lease had been let to expire. So what we have spoken to the property owner about is actually providing for access on the subject site. So since we were here, we've created this 20-foot lane in front of the building and actually taking up partial footprint of the building. So there's two sections of the building that we'd look to remove to gain this on our own property. The two pieces together total about 2,300 square feet. And that allows for us to access from our frontage on Foundry Street through the subject site, come along the front of the building and access our parking without having to go over any of the Mass Electric easement. What that does is it creates two areas of landscaping essentially in front of the building, or green space, which are in the kind of the nooks that we're taking out in front of the building. And it provides us with clear access to get to the routes that we had previously shown you for fire access, for dumpster access, and for loading access in this area here. What we've also shown you on this plan in this viewport, and the site is obviously much larger, is some snow storage areas that are designated on the site. So there's areas outside of the parking here. Certainly we don't want them using this area, which was shown on your planner's previous letter where they're piling it, because they're not using that door right now. Obviously we'll want that clear and free of snow. There's an area here at the corner of the building. There's significant areas along the back here, along the rail, which the same property owner now owns, here and also at the rear of the building. So there's substantial snow storage areas on the site, even exterior of the viewport you see here today. We've also provided you with a lighting plan consisting of 9 wall packs, essentially at every corner of the building that 420 Industries would occupy. So we're showing you a light over the loading door, over the man door here on the side of the building, over the new man door, which would be on this wall, and at the two corners approaching 420 Industries. So even though the parking lot itself is lit, we're proposing wall packs in those areas. They're all LED directed downwards, so they're dark sky compliant. So, and we've provided you with a photometric plan so you can see essentially the reach of those lights around the building to make sure that it's safe in those areas. We've also provided some additional detail related to the parking spaces we're proposing. So we've essentially, right now it's a large open paved area with very little striping and impediments. We're creating parking here where there's parking right now along this curb line, which would not be able to be used if we cut the building off and have to stay on our own property. So we're providing some striping in this area and some curb stops at each side of this so that you can have a visual impediment and also the striping to direct you towards the area of traffic. And this is more than adequate to satisfy the fire truck and a box truck vehicle that could be pulling into the loading area. And we've also updated the dumpster and recycling area to include both a dumpster and a recycling area adjacent to the building. And this would be on a pad and enclosed and obviously kept safe and secure by 420 Industries. I I believe that covers everything from the last hearing. Certainly, if there's anything additional that you need from me tonight, I'm here to answer any additional questions.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you'd like to present?
The only other documents that you've received that we have not touched upon are the odor mitigation plans. You can see the airflow through the building, through the carbon filters, and our plans to capture all the scent within the building is provided.
Okay. Anything else? Is that it?
But
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in favor of this project?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Ken Jameson. I'm a retired sergeant in the Boston Police, and I own a company called Boston Protective Services. And after looking at the plans and speaking with the owners of future owners of this facility, I'm in favor of it because of the area it's in mostly, where the traffic and everything I don't think would be a real problem, because I've done traffic for 39 years as a Boston police officer.
And I'm sorry, could I have your address, sir, please, for the record?
Excuse me, we're hearing aids.
Your address for the record, please?
Oh, my name is Kenneth Jameson. My address is 11 Deborah Drive, Walpole, Mass.
Okay,
02081.
thank you.
And that's about all I have to say, except it's a beautiful building.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor? Okay, is there anyone here this evening that would here to speak in opposition? Opposition? If none, okay, that part of the meeting is closed, and I will pass it over to the board members. You have any questions? Rich?
Yes, I have one question. It's regarding odor control, which, as we've learned, is a very important issue with these facilities. Looking at a memo from Andrew Muddy, there's no date on it, but it's a synopsis of your odor control proposal, and you reference a Jeremy Correo, excuse me if that's not pronounced right, from Grow Generation in Rhode Island, and it states he uses a similar structure for all his clients, developing grows all over the country. Can you address that in a little bit more specific manner? I'm just, it's a fine statement, but it doesn't give us the details to maybe his experience specifically in different areas. Could you address that?
Yeah, when we were looking to hire a particular person to help us with our whole growing technology, we reached out to Jeremy. He owns a 100,000 square foot warehouse in Rhode Island. He currently supplies a lot of facilities with all the equipment needed to outfit them, from lights to benches to odor mitigation systems. He also works with third-party clients, people that are heavily involved in this specifically for that type of business. So he also reaches out to them for additional equipment. He's a hired consultant for many grows across the country. Currently, he's setting up a 100,000 square foot facility in Michigan, and he's also consulting for a couple of other cultivation spaces here in Massachusetts. But he makes his business based around all these types of requirements, needs, and special equipment for these facilities.
So would you classify him as more of a broker who hires
No, I'd
individual
classify-
contractors to meet a situation?
No, I'd consider him an expert in cannabis cultivation itself.
But he hires other firms outside of his own?
Well, he can't possibly manufacture all the equipment that's needed to
Oh, no,
outfit
I'm
these
not
places.
saying
So
that. I'm
yeah,
just trying to get
he hunts
clarification.
down the best of the best and finds what he needs.
Okay. Can you recite any specific installations that he's done?
Specifically per name, no. I can get those documents and information if that's required.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a little bit more background, that's
Yeah.
The only other question I have regarding that On the second page of this proposal, you have a listing of all the rooms where, in the facility, and another column, required CFM for 8 air changes per hour. Another column, actual CFM provided. And the final column is actual air changes. I assume that's per hour.
Yes.
It's not labeled here.
Say that again? Excuse me.
It's not labeled on the memo. I just,
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's by hour.
it's okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Lockhart. Kel? Bob?
I do have a question.
Yep.
So you're showing that the plan with these filters in each of the rooms, so is, I just want to confirm that I get it right. So that the idea is to have enough air changes so that inside the room there is already almost no odor. So is that correct? Or is there an external kind of a barrier as well on the doorways and the corridors and also the envelope of the building?
Yeah, so the whole facility itself is encapsulated, and there's its own air change handling unit for that as well.
Okay.
Each room has its own exchange of air inside it, so theoretically, when you walk into some of these facilities, I've toured a number of them myself, you don't really even smell cannabis at all until you're actually in the room, standing next to a plant. So the airflow is strategically planned so that it circles the room kind of like a vortex, much like a tornado, and it just gets sucked through the carbon filters. And then the building itself has its own exchange with its own carbon filters, so therefore anything that might leak out during opening and closing doors is therefore taken care of as well.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Bob, do you have?
Yeah, I just have one question. The state monitors the air quality. Do they in any capacity make sure, they're the final say on this anyway,
Right.
so they have to approve the
Right.
the system, and they monitor it. You're anxious to say something?
Yes, hello. I'm Blake Mensing, attorney for 420 Industries Co. My address is 1865 Washington Street in Holliston. So yes, there are regulations governing odor control. Essentially, the state takes a top-down approach. They have to approve the actual odor mitigation control, as obviously you all have the purview to do so as well. I don't know if they are monitoring emissions. Certainly, any complaints that are lodged has to be reported to the state, in addition to the local officials, both fire department, police department, and building inspector and zoning code enforcement officers. But long story short, irrespective of a license from the state or local permission, there is still always a private right to bring a nuisance action. So again, the technology in place and that exists today basically means that you're not going to smell a thing. The largest facility I've taken a tour of personally is 35,000 square feet, and as Andrew was saying, literally you cannot smell a thing until you enter the room where the flowers are being cultivated. So the commitment from these folks is to be a good neighbor, and compliance with all local and state regulations is the bare, that's the floor. We're aiming to exceed every single regulatory requirement, whether it be local or state.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
That's all I had.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Rich, Dick?
Yes, as you probably remember, this was the issue that I had the most concerns and discussion of at our previous hearing. Since that time, we've also, had other facility come before us, and the manner in as much as it's new territory for all of us. We know that the State Cannabis Control Commission has not fully promulgated their rules on it yet, or they're rather general rather than specific. So the way we're looking to approach this at this point is that, we would take your narrative here regarding the odor mitigation and the plan, and add to that, that prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall submit a certified HVAC odor mitigation plan with documentation certifying that the plans are as represented in this narrative and for approval for a building permit.
So, yeah, that's actually part of the state's regulatory process. Everything that's approved at the local level in terms of the plans for literally every square inch of the facility, that's how you have to build it out. And obviously the build out is calculated to meet or exceed every single regulatory requirement. Again, both with whatever conditions you decide to impose in addition to what the state requires. So you're correct, there's no, numeric smell number metric that I'm aware of, but again, it's the commitment to ensure that they're good neighbors, good corporate citizens, and of course, as I said, a condition in the special site plan approval, as well as sort of a blanket catch-all, no nuisance provision in the host community agreement, which is a required contract between the municipality and the operator, without which they cannot apply to the state, and they have in hand, and it does contain that provision.
Right. And which is my point, that this is new territory for us all. We just want to make sure that the community is protected from, any potential nuisance, that could potentially be developed.
Right, and so.
And by making that a condition of your permitting, that's the best we have at this point to do so.
It will be a tripartite protection, so it'll be a condition, I assume, of the site plan approval, a condition of the host community agreement, and then a condition of the license itself from the state. So there are many layers of oversight, and certainly in this industry there's no hiding anything. Everything is recorded 24 hours, so any incidences of odor reporting from neighbors or passersby will get reported to everyone and mitigated post haste.
Given the information and the conditions we have available to us at this point, that would satisfy me, and would leave us some recourse should it not be as we anticipate.
Absolutely.
So that would be the main condition, one main condition that I would like to see in terms of the approval.
Happy to oblige by that, yes.
Thank you. Jared, is there anything that DPD has concerns? I know you wrote the memo that to the applicant as well, from dated April 11th. I know there was one last condition from wastewater utility, specifically the applicant shall clean the catch basins on site, provide documentation stating that the catch basins are clean. I suspect that that's fine with the applicant. Is there anything beyond that, Jared?
Staff does not have any outstanding concerns about this proposal.
Okay, great, thank you. Just for myself, you've certainly come a long way because the initial presentation was lacking proper access. We didn't have actually the lighting plan, and we had a lot of issues regarding the odor mitigation. So you provided the odor mitigation plan. You made the revisions to the site plan, snow storage, the dumpsters, and the access. So from that perspective, I think you've satisfied the concerns that I had and concerns that were raised by all of the board members. So I think, other than the odor mitigation, could you just elaborate? You said you've been in some facilities. Are they facilities that were actually engineered or built by the
By Jeremy?
yes?
No.
Okay.
So the technology is pretty standard industry-wide. There's a couple of different strategies. As Andrew mentioned, it's going to be primarily through carbon filters, and these are big, giant tubes of activated charcoal, essentially. So I'm not a scientist, but my understanding is that the odor particles are attracted through an ionization process, somehow treated with the charcoal itself. So essentially the particles attach to the charcoal, and what's spit out the other end is cleaned air.
Yeah, there's actually some facilities that have ozone control with scent release, so some factories actually smell like bubble gum. So.
And
That could be more aggravating than the...
Sure, yeah, no doubt. It's
Hi, my name is Keith Laham. My address is 56 Kimball Road, Dedham, Massachusetts. I'm a co-owner of 420 Industries with Andrew. The smell is actually an accumulative thing. So us having, it goes by cubic feet per minute and how quickly the air can be exchanged from the rooms. Each room would be cleaned individually and not given the chance to accumulate. And then outside those rooms, there would be other filters before any air ever left the building. I've been into some really big facilities. I was in one in Fitchburg about a year ago, and they must have spent about $50 million on this facility. And we got a good chance to really, really look and talk to the people who ran the facility, and it gave us some really good ideas on how to completely cut this out.
Good, thank you. Any other board members have any further questions or comments? If not,
I have
okay.
one more
More on
question.
the technical side, your control system would take into consideration air pressure within the rooms versus outside, so I mean, that's, all works together, not just the CFM, but,
Right.
and that would be all spelled out specifically, okay.
So just one more point, just the cultivation environment for the cannabis plant itself has to be tightly controlled. So the odor will be mitigated in part by the attempt to regulate the humidity, the temperature, all of those factors go into a happy plant. So basically it's an odor control plan, and then as well you have to guard against airborne microbial infestations, bugs, all that sort of thing. So it's in their best interest, both in terms of producing the product they want and keeping it compliant with the state regulations in terms of testing.
Anything else? Anything?
One question I have is whether, so have the new layout changed the doorway? Have changed the interior design of the building because of the amount of building that is removed? And is the main entrance now from the landscaped area, and how does it work in relation to the loading in the back?
So what we've done is essentially, there's a hallway that goes through the building in this location, so we've relocated the door along the same hallway where the main entry once was and brought the walkway back out. This will take approximately 2 rooms that were previously here off the front of the building, which will be replicated interior of the building more. So it's just going to take additional area from the other buildings so that their lease would stay the same.
Got it. Thank you.
Anything else? Good.
I'm good.
Okay. No further questions, comments? What's the wish of the body?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the site plan with the following conditions. That the portions of the building be removed per the revised site plan that was provided by the applicant to provide appropriate parking and loading areas without requiring the use of the Mass Electric easement. That the plan for the corrals and trash recycling dumpsters, as requested by the Solid Waste and Recycling Department, be met. That the appropriate striping of parking spaces and stops for the 11 parking spaces be included. The areas of snow storage be accepted and used as promulgated. That the lighting plan, that we accept the lighting plan as shown, and that we accept the narrative regarding the odor mitigation, and that prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall submit a certified HVAC odor mitigation plan with documentation certifying that the plans are as represented in the odor mitigation narrative, which was provided to and accepted by this board.
I'll second that.
And then we have one more condition.
Oh, yeah, okay, and this is regarding the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility, that condition that the applicants shall clean catch basins on site and provide documentation of that cleaning.
We have a second?
Yeah, right here. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go, Lynn.
Just for discussion. I know it came up before, and maybe it's not needed now, but any traffic signage or anything like that should be identified on the plan that you submitted as a condition.
Yeah, I think that was when we were looking about
Yes.
the trip around
Yeah,
the
it
building and, which was gonna be necessary to direct the traffic, around the building. So I think that was the context
It was,
of, Jared, do you recall that that was the case? Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud. We'll see you guys around. Yeah, buddy.
Otherwise, never had this problem.
Yes. No, time will tell.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the only item on the agenda this evening. Is there any new business, Jared, at all? No? Any notices? Any further comments from planning board members?
Historic Board is in high gear for doors open Lowell, May 9th, 10th, and 11th. Our next meeting is May 13th, I believe. That's all.
Great, thank you. I just have one item that I discussed at the NEMCOG meeting last night, and you may have seen this article in the newspaper. Governor Baker bill would ease zoning rules for housing.
I saw that, I didn't read it.
Yeah, well, it was an attempt to, and it is an attempt to address an overall housing shortage in the state. And it's not necessarily geared to affordable housing, it's just housing shortage in general. And there is a shortage of mid-price homes, shall we say, in the state. There's lower-end housing, and then there's the high-end McMansions that have developed over the years. So it's well-intentioned, but one of the concerns that I had and brought up with the body, and they're bringing it back to their respective communities, is, and I know there was some actually people interviewed from the city in this particular article, but is it proposes to decrease the threshold in which a zoning change can take place. So right now, it's a supermajority of a particular form of government, the city council. In many towns, it's town meeting. Very difficult to get a supermajority in a town meeting. Understood that, I understand that issue. However, going down to a simple majority for a zoning change in the city of Lowell, I think is is a slippery slope that I prefer not to see us go down. You know, you only need to get 6 votes right now. I mean, that's not a lot of votes. You can drop that to 5. I think that's a real concern. I've actually voiced that to Representative Golden, brought that forward to the body last night, and for comment coming out of NEMCOG. But I certainly would be looking for input from this body. And again, my understanding is this would even make it optional for towns to adopt that. But once you make it an option, then I'm concerned that even the body that may be sitting here now, we're very comfortable with, the same type of thinking that would say, hey, you know what, why don't we adopt it, is the same type of thing that concerns me about zoning change in the future. And I honestly believe if a zoning change is presented and it's a well-designed and presented plan that is for the benefit of the overall community, then it'll have merit. And you'll do your homework because you need a supermajority. It'll force you to do your homework. So going to a simple majority, I think, just opens the door for really poor planning and poor development, and especially in a city like Lowell. And I understand there's a bigger picture, but, you know, as we sit here, we're here to serve the city of Lowell. So that's my concerns about that. I would encourage everybody to look at this a little bit more. And anybody has any comments on that or thoughts?
That was
I
my
have a
initial
comment on that.
reaction when I read this news article. I thought it was gonna be too easy, and everybody would use that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's my concern. Rich, I don't use.
Well, yeah, I do. You know, housing is a major issue, not just affordable, as you pointed out, but it affects businesses tremendously because, I mean, they have enough problems in my own personal business and experience in manufacturing and industry. They have a very difficult time recruiting qualified, technically trained people. And once you get them, you want to keep them. And if the housing isn't available, they'll go elsewhere. So it's all a component of that employment cycle that is critical to maintain, but not by loosening standards. You know, you can go crazy with that and, you know, not help community development in a positive way.
Thank you.
As I've said, when we've had, requests for zoning changes come before us for recommendation, in general, I look and I say that, the zoning code and, the zoning in the various areas of the city were developed with a great deal of thought and as a cohesive unit.
Right.
And to make changes to that, I think requires, a lot of thought, and, it should not be done lightly. And so for that reason, I think that, maintaining the supermajority rule would be appropriate.
Caleb, any thoughts on that?
Yes, I will have concern about the, frequency of changes as well. I mean, if you have a simple majority, that could happen more often. And also, going back to concurring with the said comments is just community representation. When you have simple majority, that's sometimes there will be more bipartisanship in terms of different type of interests, and which wouldn't be as wise in terms of a planning process.
Appreciate it. Now, would this body have an issue, again, representing, at least at NEMCOG, from the planning board's perspective, that we have concerns about lowering that from a supermajority to a simple majority? And I think I'd like to bring that back to that body
Yeah.
for discussion.
Yeah, I would endorse that, Jerry.
I think it's clear from the comments from the members of the board here tonight that represents the consensus of this body, and
Sure.
I would have no problem you representing that back to NEMCOG.
Great,
Me
thank you.
neither. Well, we put a lot of thought and effort into trying to do things right, and that's,
Yeah, no, like I said, I understand the challenge with the towns, and I understand
Yeah,
that,
you do.
but there's gotta be a better way to address it. than opening the door in a city like Lowell municipality where it's a council, say 9 members, and just needing a simple majority. I think that's
Too easy.
a concern.
It could blow major holes into our master plan.
Exactly, correct.
It's
Yeah,
just,
that
would
too. Well,
negate all of that planning we've done over the years to design a community that we all collectively, all the citizens bought into.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and then it starts to become particular individuals that bring it forward and, and able to get their simple majority vote.
It would only take
yeah.
5 individuals
Yeah.
to change that, in Lowell's case.
Yeah, which is,
And I think it's fine the way it is.
all right, no, thank you. I thought we were pretty much like-minded on this particular issue, but I certainly wanted to make it known to the board that we were having discussions at NEMCOG, so, thank you. With that, look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. Good night, everybody. Mr. Lockhart.
Richard?